Hello, hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into Blooming. We're diving into episodes 8 and 9, I believe. Yes, 8 and 9. End of episode 7, we had where Dawoon stepped to whatever man's name is at this point. I don't remember what his name is. I'm not committed to memory. But stepped him and was like, basically, girl, I need you to stop messing with my man. So rather than beating you up or kicking your ass, I'll pay you money. You let me know what your price is, okay? But until then, leave my man alone. So we're gonna see if that had any effect, and if there's gonna be any repercussions, because we still got 4 episodes left, so there's a lot that could still happen. So let's dive on in. Yeah, that's kind of what we were worried about. Dawoon's involvement in in him winning the competition. Like, we didn't want that to be the case, but it seems as though that potentially was the case. And, so the one, I keep wanting to say friend, but not really friend, but homeboy who I thought was a friend, but then decided to while out last few episodes before he got his arm broken by homegirl, painter girl. I guess what he was saying, part of what he was saying, is true, where he only won because of Dawoon's involvement and who his parents were, and it's like I was very, very hopeful that that wasn't going to be the case, and like, no, he won of his own merits. He just happens to know Dawoon, but damn, because that's potentially going to cause issues in this budding relationship that we have here, because he's already Siwon's already got, I won't say trust issues, but he's got self-confidence issues galore. That's basically the basis of the film. Like, how these self-confidence issues were bred and born. It's like, it sucks to kind of have this victory or this success snatched away from him like this. But at the same time, mom was just being honest. Like, she wasn't trying to hurt anyone's feelings. Obviously, she didn't tell Siwon, which I feel like, this conversation probably should have had with him. But again, she didn't want to make it seem like, oh yeah, we only picked you because of my son, this, that, the others, because it's her company's reputation on the line. Don't want to play into that sort of nepotism storyline, but yeah, it sucks that that little bit of a victory was taken away from him. I feel bad for him. I do. That sucks. But outside of that, let me backtrack to last episode and the beginning of this episode. I was sitting here thinking during episode 8, when Siwon and Dawoon were just kind of spending the day together. It's like, okay, hey, you know what? Most directors, they work on films at the hotel. And he's like, what? It's like, girl, get your mind out of the gutter. I mean, blah, blah, blah. So then they take a bus and they go, have lunch and, walk by the beach and all that stuff. And I was sitting here thinking the whole time, especially when they were sitting on the beach and just kind of having that little conversation, I was like, this feels so, like, genuine and real. Like, it feels like a genuine interaction, because sometimes in these series or these movies, like, they might set up this exact same scenario, but like the conversation, everyone is saying exactly the right thing. They're saying everything that needs to be said at the right moment, and it's this big romantic, culmination and confession. And like, look, I love it. I buy into it. Give it to me. Nom 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 nom. I love it. But like this, like the conversation we're having, they weren't necessarily overly romantic or overly introspective or anything like that. Like, it just felt like a normal conversation between two people. There were pauses. There were, like, it didn't feel like a conversation that was driving a plot line. It just felt like a conversation that was happening between two people who were hanging out for the day. And I like that aspect. There's just a lot of realism. It feels very grounded, this series. So I like that. And then Dawoon, just like he got overtaken by the passion, and he just grabbed his face and he kissed him, and I'm like, oh yes. And I loved how Siwon went in for another kiss. He pulled him in real aggressively. I'm like, oh. And Dawoon was like, hey, baby, calm down, just slow. It's like, again, that felt very, very real. Not every first kiss is going to be the most amazing kiss in the world, because this, we're being led to believe like this is Siwon's first time doing something like that. He may have had other experiences, we don't know, but for my perspective, it feels like his first time doing that. And if that was, his first kiss, it's understandable that, he may not be the best kisser. He may not have the best technique. He might be a little overzealous or a little over aggressive, and just like, and like, it's relatable for me. I mean, not being an overzealous kisser. I've always been amazing. No. But like, again, if you've tuned into mine and Synergix and Miguel's podcast, Rainbow Glaze, especially episode 3, where we're going into story times about just all of our shenanigans and adult indiscretions that we may have done throughout our lives, and ranking stories and all that kind of stuff. I told the story of my first kiss, and I was 21, 20. I don't remember. I was already out of college. Was I in grad school at that point? I was already out of undergrad, so 20, 21, somewhere in there. But yeah, I didn't have my first like real kiss until I was in my 20s. So it's very relatable to see, this character, like, yeah, he's never kissed anybody at this point in time, so he doesn't know what to do. So Dawoon was like, hey, I'll guide you, baby. I got you. I will. We're gonna slow this down, baby. And it was cute. And again, just a very realistic feeling moment. And then we just jumped over to the hotel. I'm like, oh Lord, okay. I guess that teaching session went real good, because it went real well. Because hello. And again, cinematography of the scene itself was beautifully done. I loved all of the shadows and silhouettes. I loved when they were having the conversation, just kind of panning through the room and seeing, okay, here's the bag, here's the socks, here's the shoes, and just kind of, like, it was just a very interesting take on it, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I liked the conversation they were having. It's like, I just don't know why you like me. I don't get it. Because again, he's very self-conscious, very insecure, even though he's got this perfect body, this gorgeous face, all this talent, blah blah blah. He's still very insecure because of things from his childhood. He's like, I just don't know why you like me. And he's listing off all these reasons why he likes him, this, that, and the other. And then they start having a little pillow fight section, and it's adorable. And then they go, walking on the beach and some more the next day, and it's adorable. And then they start filming the actual film. And again, I like how he was talking with the child actor, like, hey, just so you know, you're adorable, you're so cute, you're precious, you're the best thing in the world. I don't want you to feel badly about anything that's happening or anything that's going to be said, because I don't necessarily, whenever I watch these series and there are child actors, I don't always necessarily think about like what the child actor themselves might be thinking or going through, playing these roles and whatnot. So it was kind of a nice little refreshing take where it's like, okay, yes, this child actor is just another actor playing a character, but he was hired as his character because he is a little bit fluffier. He's a little chubby little kid, and there's nothing wrong with that. But being a chubby kid also sometimes comes with ridicule and being made fun of, and all these negative feelings towards yourself. And him kind of stepping into this role where that is the crux of his character could have some sort of effect on his self-esteem or make him feel some type of way. So I like that Siwon took the time to be like, hey, just so you know, you are still very handsome. You are still adorable. You are still everything. Okay? Okay. I like that we had that moment. Yeah, then we filmed the film, and it seemed like it went off relatively well. People in the audience seemed to enjoy it. There was relatively good commentary. And then Mom was like, okay, you're one of his friends. Let me take you out to lunch. I'll tell Daoun. And, they were having conversation. And at the start of the conversation, before Daoun got there, Mom was saying something along the lines of, this is a hard business to get into. It's all about, like, connections or, who you know or something along those lines. And I was like, where are we going with this, Mama? Then Daoun came in and, we were having a nice lunch conversation. He's like, oh, I have to go call my sister because she's been blowing up my phone. And we find out that Mama had seen the film and had been crying and whatnot. Don't necessarily know what the crying, where it's coming from. It might be a place of guilt, seeing the effect that it's had on her son all these years. It might just be a place of general sadness because, like, this might be reminding her of all this stuff that she's gone through over the years. We don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But on his way back to lunch, he's overhearing the conversation between Daoun and his mom, and basically her just saying, hey, we probably should have gone with one of the graduates, but this wouldn't have made it anywhere if it wasn't for your involvement. And he's like, thank you. And it sucks. Like I said at the beginning of this, it sucks for Siwon. And it's probably going to cause some sort of rift, because had Daoun come forward or, just told Siwon, hey, this was my involvement in the situation, yes, there probably would have been a little bit of a rift. There would have been some awkwardness, some harsh words, and unpleasantries. But I feel like at this point, we probably potentially would have made it past that and been fine. But having to find out this way, having to overhear it, it makes it seem as though Daoun was never going to tell him. And then, okay, well, now he's keeping secrets from me. Can I trust someone who's going to be keeping secrets from me? It's this whole just rabbit hole that you can fall down, finding out things that way. So it's like, it's unfortunate, but I've only got 2 episodes left, so I don't know if they'll have a happy ending or not. They may not, because like I keep saying, the series seemed to be very grounded, and there's been just a lot of realistic scenarios happening. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya. Mwah.